Salut à tous. Let's take a final look at our sporting headline for this morning, diving into and fast-tracking into it as far as our Formula One is concerned, where 3 decades of the Formula One engines are lost roared on African tarmac. South Africa is mounting a bid to organize a new Grand Prix and, of course, bring the World Championship back to the continent. Competition to host a high-octane spectacle is between our 2 tracks, which, of course, is a street circuit in the mother city, Cape Town, and, of course, the less picturesque but historic Kyalami racetrack just outside of Johannesburg. A committee was set up by Sports Minister Gayton McKenzie will, of course, choose the winning bid in the third quarter of the year. The community this was communicated by a committee member in Demase. Of course, this report was given out to various news reports. There was a bit of this huge amount of confidence coming off from Gayton McKenzie, where he says, of course, the Grand Prix is definitely coming in 2027. No doubts about that. This was a comment that he made just early on this month. There's a lot of speculation in that regard. Of course, also Lewis Hamilton coming out and saying there's no way we can come out and say F1 is for the world, but we don't want to take F1 to the African continent. So even so, Lewis Hamilton is also an advocate and is really pushing forward for the F1 to be held in Africa. Alongside with that, there seems to be some other countries that are also bidding. Possibly the most infamous one and less popular to host the event is, of course, Rwanda. As we already know, Rwanda sponsors the likes of Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain. But regardless of that, considering the war that's currently going on in the DRC Congo, where some private sectors, some companies are pulling out with their involvement with the country, Rwanda, president of Rwanda, of course, Paul Kagame, who was at the Singapore Grand Prix in September last year. He, of course, sat down to meet the sports governing body at FII and, of course, F1 owners, Liberty Media, just to pretty much try to notch up a little bit of a bid and nod for Rwanda to host the Formula One as well. As we know, Rwanda as a country is a beautiful country, but as far as the politics are concerned, possibly not the best place to be if you want to catch possibly the most exciting race, the most exciting roadshow as far as our Formula One is concerned. Alongside with Rwanda, there's also Morocco, another country that has a high possibility of hosting an African Formula One event. So it's going to be rather competitive. It's not just between the 2 cities in South Africa. It's other parts of the continent, other countries in the continent that are also competing for an opportunity to host possibly one of the most grandest Formula One or other motorsport show as far as the world of motorsports is concerned. And then we'll dive into some cricket news. Of course, a lot of excitement and anticipation for that encounter between the Proteas and England. The Proteas are just 1 match away from landing a semi-final spot in the Champions Trophy. They will of course take on England, who have already been knocked out of the tournament of the competition after their defeats at the hands of Afghanistan. South African batter Rassie van der Dussen says that a match against England is always going to be tough, even though the English have nothing to play for. Of course, that encounter between the English takes place tomorrow. And then to give you an insight as far as your Betway Premiership wrap is concerned, we've got a bit of mouthful of action, mouth-watering action rather, coming out this weekend. Well, of course, this weekend will be match day 20 of the Betway Premiership 2024-2025 season. But of course, that is obviously already spoiled by the shenanigans that are currently going on at Royal AM, who at this point have left at least half of the teams with our games in hand. And of course, the rot at Royal AM continues with our Sekhukhune United, who were meant to play them in the league this weekend, will now have to face have to be on a Nedbank duty with Milford FC. That round of 16 match was scheduled for the Princess Magoga Stadium in KwaMashu. The game kicks off at around 3 p.m. on Sunday. The winner of that encounter, of course, the winner of that encounter will face off against Mamelodi Sundowns in the Nedbank Cup quarterfinals. Shifting from that, of course, all matches involving Royal AM remain suspended due to the finances being frozen, and of course, the team being taken by a curatorship under SARS. But just to give you a further insight, as far as general matches are concerned, of course, a lot of excitement this weekend for that showdown, where of course our sworn enemies, Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. But this weekend, you can almost bet that they will be singing from the same hymn sheet, rather. Put on the brakes on as far as the Mamelodi Sundowns steam train is moving rather smoothly at the top of the Betway Premiership with now a 51 points on the board. Sundowns will be playing the 20th league match of the season, whereas Chiefs will only be playing the 18th match this season. Of course, Chiefs are not chasing Sundowns as they stand 25 points behind. Would you imagine that? But nonetheless, but they have pride in stake. That pride will go as far as our Orlando Pirates. Of course, should Chiefs come out victorious this weekend, it will all but mean that Orlando Pirates are still in the title race and can perhaps cause a bit of an upset at the top of the table. Of course, as we know, Orlando Pirates had already lost to Mamelodi Sundowns, and they'll be looking at this an opportunity for Chiefs to do them a favor. And of course, our other fixtures to look out for. Of course, as mentioned, Sekhukhune United's non-league participation this weekend is still compromising for top 4 missions with 31 points. They occupy third place on the log, but Polokwane City and Stellenbosch will meet tonight to open up the weekend's action. However, the results in that encounter will not hurt them. At the least. Of course, that encounter takes place this evening with a 7:30 kickoff. And then, as far as KwaZulu-Natal is concerned, Arthur Zwane begins our AmaZulu journey as a sole head coach. Of course, the club statement announced earlier on this week that our coach Vusumuzi Vilakazi's resignation this week was straightforward. That Zwane would remain the sole head coach, as of course coach Vusumuzi and coach Arthur Zwane were sharing the head coach role at AmaZulu. But that of course means AmaZulu will now be without the two coaches. Of course, the Zulu Nation team will travel and play on a struggling Cape Town City at the Kings Welitini Stadium on Sunday. That's pretty much an insight as far as local football is concerned. A lot of excitement, a lot of football to look out for this weekend. As mentioned, if you want to get your hands on the tickets for this weekend's game between Mamelodi Sundowns and Kaizer Chiefs, head over to our Bogart Radio app. Head over to the Win With Us tab, and of course, enter the keyword SCORE to stand a chance to win tickets. I know the tickets are pretty much already gone. If we don't have,
all sold out.
Also a lot, and also in our competition, a lot of people have entered. So we might also be, in fact, we'll be announcing a winner as well. So yeah, you have possibly just under 20 minutes to perhaps try enter. Maybe just a lucky draw will pull out your name and you might be considered as a victor for tickets for tomorrow's encounter at set place at the Lucas Masterpieces Moripe Stadium. It was confirmed at Attridgeville, but I think they've changed it to the Masterpieces Moripe Stadium as well. 3 p.m. kickoff South African time. That's my story for now. Back again on Monday between 9 and 11 a.m. Until then, it's enough said.